think I had the idea maybe 2 years ago. So I'm a film director at Finch. I'm not a marketer. I'm not so much in the corporate world, but I'd been working on this documentary about conservationists, and then I came back to Australia and was, I think I was watching the cricket and drinking beer, and this Optus commercial kept coming up with this beautiful family of cheetahs that were like really well rendered in CGI and stuff, and just made you feel so good, and it was selling phone data, and like, what the fuck cheetahs have to do with phone data? And I tell you what they have to do with it is that they sell it. Like these animals have created a feeling that's a good feeling in me, and I'm like, yeah, Optus. And having just sort of thrown around the world and met all these conservationists and really had the massive problem of extinctions and destruction of biodiversity on our planet rattling around the back of my head, I realized at that point that the advertising industry has been getting away with something, and I don't mean that to sound accusatory, but like brands and advertising has been using the images of animals to sell products and make billions in profits. But in the real world, those actual animals are in a lot of trouble. And if we pay 2 Chainz to be in an Expensify ad, like God knows how much money that guy made, and so he should. Don't get me wrong. Like that's what we do. It's what brands do. They pay for music. They pay for Chris Hemsworth to be in an ad, and so on. But nothing goes back to the wild animals. And so there was a French survey done a couple of years ago, and 9 out of the 10 most popularly used wild animals in advertising are either on the endangered list or threatened list. So there's a wrong there that needs to be righted, and so the idea isn't so much, let's make a law and force these brands to do this thing. It was like, what if we actually, in the current climate where people want to try and save the world, what if brands actually cave back just a tiny, tiny little bit, only when there was an animal in an ad? You might have one campaign that Toyota does a campaign with an animal in it, the next campaign doesn't have it. It's only that campaign with the animal in it where a tiny bit of money is put across. What if that became a global initiative where everybody signs up? Once you get 1,000 brands or 100 brands signed up, we're in the realm of raising $100 million a year. It's not a lot of money for each individual brand, but once you pull it together, then the advertising brand industry, the private sector is helping save the planet. So I'm trying to answer your question. So I had that idea maybe 2 years ago. I took it to Rob Galuzzo, who's the founder of Finch, and he, to his credit, jumped on it. We had an opportunity to pitch it to Mars. Rob went and pitched that with Nick Garrett, who was CEO of Clems, and pitched it to the global CMO of Mars, and he jumped on. And we can talk about our perspective on CMOs, if you like. Sorry, I'm buzzing. So Andrew Clark, who was the global CMO of Mars, said, yeah,